Hi, welcome back. In today's video I'm going to examine the downfall of Jibaro the Deaf Knight, and his fellow countrymen. I'm going to talk about who the soldiers were, and illustrate that they were already under the spell of the figurative siren's voice. This is because the siren of the lake was a representation of something they already committed to, and I'll explain what I mean. Let's begin. Before I go on, there's a phrase to keep in mind as we go through this video, and that phrase is gold fever. I will go into detail on how that term is at the heart of this entire tragic drama. Jibaro, creator Alberto Milgo stated that Jibaro was an allegory about greed, toxic relationships, and colonialism. Alberto Milgo, a Spanish director, illustrated the darker side of the conquistadors and their mission. According to Merriam-Webster dictionary, conquistador means one that conquers. The conquistadors' mission was to conquer lands in the name of their home countries. Juan Ponce de Leon was a Spanish-born conquistador who made it his mission to find riches, such as gold and the famed Fountain of Youth. Conquistadors or conquistadores were the explorer soldiers of the Spanish and Portuguese empires of the 15th and 16th centuries. And this brings us back to Jibaro. You see, in Jibaro the conquistadors could have easily been explorers, but most likely they would have been conquerors in the search for gold. This most likely was the most powerful motivation for everything they did. This singular all-powering drive to search for gold would have blinded them all to potential pitfalls and dangers. This was illustrated perfectly with the siren of the lake. If they were natives of this land, they most likely would have been aware of her presence, and judging from the amount of victims she claimed in her lake, she would have been a local legend, a superstition or something that would signify this place being dangerous. But because they come under the flag of greed being their motivation, this most likely blinded them to this fact. They would not have listened to the natives about the danger of this lake. No, their drive for gold would have blinded them to that fact. To understand this drive and the psychology behind it, we're going to look at that term we talked about, and that is gold fever. According to Merriam-Webster dictionary, gold fever is the contagious excitement of gold. One writer states that there's probably nothing that can be more destructive to a circle of true companions than this, for gold fever is a moral disease as well as a mental one. To be infected with it leaves one vulnerable to the effects of greed. Back to Jibaro the Deaf Knight. Now we can understand a little bit more of his psychology. If he was in that kind of environment that lusted for gold, and if he was a soldier conditionally trained to believe that gold was the ultimate victory, it is easy to see how he became insanely violent and filled with an uncontrollable passion and desire to obtain gold by any means necessary, even if that means ripping the very flesh off the Lady of the Lake. Another thing to keep in mind: if Jibaro was acting this brutal towards the siren out of revenge, he would have took that stance for justice in the beginning, and not wait to be blinded by the glittering effect of the gold. Not only was he infected by the destructive power of gold fever, on top of that his mission lined up perfectly with that warped psychology. In the end, the seductive allure of gold is one of the major factors in his downfall, but not just him, but all his fellow soldiers also. They were already hypnotized by the siren song, but this song was from the attractiveness of gold. So guys, I hope you enjoy the more detailed backstory of Jibaro, the conquistador knight, and how gold fever caused his downfall.